Good morning. This is Math 1342, Intro to Statistics. For the next 16 weeks, we're stuck together. Now, because of that, we're going to discuss, that's all we're going to do today is discuss the structure of the course, what I expect you to do, what hopefully you expect of me, and so I can see where we can meet together, make this an enjoyable course, pain-free, stress-free. And I guarantee you this, the only way to fail my courses is not do the work. There's no way you could be absent from my classes. How many of you all have heard anything about my classes? The rest of you all decided to take a chance on the least of all the evils, or I'll fit in your schedule. Okay, so let's begin here. Who am I? There. Forget that misprint. My name is Professor Arthur Migala. I have been doing this since 1988. So it's almost getting close to 40 years. I've been teaching college level, university level mathematics. My degrees are in computer engineering, mathematics, and artificial intelligence, finishing up the final one, hopefully this summer. What is statistics about? What is statistics? What is it about? What are we going to do here? Or is it just I have to take it for my degree? Actually, yes, that's true. We will look at patterns and numbers, or actually more so, patterns of numbers. So what is statistics used for? Very good. Well, actually, you're half right in this course. Yeah, actually, this course should be called, it has two names, statistics and probability. Statistics is just the opposite of that. You ever see on TV that it says, so like you see all these cop shows, the only way I could change something is by becoming a statistic? In other words, a murder victim or something like that. Statistics deals with things that happened in the past. Because you can't take a statistic of something that hasn't happened yet. A probability is what happens in the future. So, and that's what we're going to end up this course talking about. Future, possibly analyzing future occurrences. Statistics, here you go. Are you in this? Which class? Hello? Are you in this class? That class? Come on in, make stuff at school. So we're going to look at both things. We're going to look at statistic. Where's the class number? Yeah, that's 1342. Absolutely. So we're going to first, the reason we start off with statistics because we have to have numbers to deal with. And with those numbers, once you collect information, well, what's the difference between data and information? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but you can't always say that. What can you do with information? You could make a plan. If you knew that tomorrow is going to be snowy, cold, windy, so that tells you know how to dress for tomorrow. Actually, it tells you don't get out of bed. So that's information. But information is different from data. Data is what you collect. So you look outside, see the clouds coming in, the temperature is dropping, that's data. It doesn't become information until it's processed. So information is processed data. Now, how we process data That's the first part of this course. We have graphic representations. We have a histogram. We have plot, dot plot. We have line graphs. We have all sorts of graphs. We're going to learn how to use those, how to develop those, and how to interpret them. And then we're going to learn about how, once we have this information, we create these graphs. Now we have information. Now we can make future plans. In other words, if present trends continue, we can predict what's going to happen tomorrow. There was a Simpsons episode in which Homer Simpson was getting in the stock market. He noticed that in middle October, the prices of pumpkins were increasing. And then got close to November 1st, increasing, got even more. So Homer thought, okay, I'm gonna buy a whole bunch of pumpkins and then they'll be worth a lot of money. So he kept on buying more and more and more. December 1st comes around. What happens to the price of pumpkins? They drop tremendously because why? People collect pumpkins for either decorations of Thanksgiving tables, or if you want to, we look at Halloween. We go a little further. So it's what you have with data for future occurrences. If present trends continues, you can make a decision. Stock market is a perfect example. Actually, so is all this stuff started from a casino in Monte Carlo, where casinos, their entire purpose of existing is what? Make money, make billions and billions of dollars a month. So they have to figure out the mathematics behind all their games. And that's we'll play with a lot of those games during the course of this semester, and we'll see how statistics can be used to make you think about what move should you make in any game you play. It's called strategy. So yeah, so that's the first part. Then the last part is going to be probabilities. Is which we have all of this information, we can now determine what is the chance of this happening in the future. That's a probability, which is what gambling is all about. Well, let's look at the course itself. Is everybody logged on yet? Who has not logged on yet? Their eCampus. Because I went ahead, yeah, if those of you who have, I fixed the syllabus problem last night. What happened is we are switching to a syllabus system where it's all online now. And I created the syllabus a week ago. Every time I posted it in this class, it disappeared. Never showed up. So once I tried everything else, I decided to try one last thing, and it worked. So if this thing starts working, then I'll show you what I'm talking about. While we're waiting, any questions? We'll talk about that in a second. Why is this not working? This is also, we're going to talk about how to communicate in this class, and this is the prime reason why. All right. Our class is 1342. There. We'll look at the syllabus. And this is what it looks like. It has my email. My office number is room 215. It's the other corner of this building on the second floor. But again, because of my schedule, I'm almost never there. I'm always in a classroom. So you'll see my office hours are scattered out. On Monday, Wednesdays, I'm here, my office hours from 7 to 7:50 in room 126. On Tuesday, Thursday, from 7 to 8:50, room 173. On Tuesday, Thursdays, from 10 to 11, I'll be in my office. But that's not my only office hours. Other than that, I'm available 24/7. On your syllabus, you'll have the Remind app. How many of y'all are familiar with the Remind app? I prefer that instead of emails. Or even don't message me through the My Math Lab either. Because you see how long it takes just to get logged onto this thing. And that's if the system's working. So if you have any questions, if you want to contact me any way, shape, matter, or form, contact me via Remind. Because the reason I choose that is because when do you guys do most of your homework and you're studying? When? Usually on weekends, evening times or weekends. Well, if you get stuck and I'm not logged on my email to check your emails, if you have a question, when will I answer your emails? And most of the times teachers don't check their emails on the weekends. So is that fair to you? No, because if you started on your homework on Friday night and you get stuck and nobody answers your questions, you just wasted a whole weekend. That's why the Remind app is such a powerful tool. How far is the phone from you at any time during the day or night? Anything more than that, you guys go through withdrawal symptoms. So, and that's the reason why, because it goes from your cell phone, you send me a message and it goes to my cell phone. If I will respond within minutes or when I get the beep, unless I'm otherwise preoccupied, swimming, having dinner, in a movie or something like that. Day or night, weekends, doesn't matter when. I taught a calculus 2 course over the Christmas break. I was helping a couple of students on Christmas Day. Because if I'm not doing anything and you guys need help, I'm here. I said, there's almost no way you can fail this course. The only way you can do it is by not doing anything, not trying. And then if you try, I'm here for you. So you see that my office hours are pretty much 24/7. If you don't think we can answer it on texting messages, then we'll coordinate a time in which you'll go to your computer at home or your office or wherever, and you'll go to this button right here. This is the link to the Zoom page, the one I'm on right now. So what you do, you'll click that, I'll click it, we'll start the class session, and then what's happening is I will be writing the problem and working it out and talking to you over the phone. It's the same as you being in this room with me right now. If there was a sheet right here between us, it's exactly like being online doing your class. So I'll walk you through whatever problem you're having with your homework, if I can't answer it via text. Or if you're busy and you can't meet, what I'll do is if it's a question you have with one of the problems on one of the homeworks, I'll work out the homework problem, save it, send you the link to it, and explain to you how I got the answer. So you have a free tutor 24/7. Well, you have tutors here also. So, but I mean, you have this is my job is to help you guys. But again, you have to do the work yourself first. If you get stuck, say, oh, I'm stuck, I need help. Try it a couple of times. Look at the videos. Or look at the examples that we did in class. The whole reason we do examples in class is to help you when you do your homework. All right. So my office hours are 24/7, but I have to post some physical office hours. Those are those. If you get here early in the morning. And my office location is room W215. Again, because of my schedule, and when I leave here in the afternoons, a lot of times I go to Denton for meetings over there at UNT. So I'm really busy. So when you contact me, please use your mind. Don't send me emails. If you want to discuss something private, and we can meet and just send emails back and forth, or there's a privacy button I can have on my messages and send it only to you. But for private messages and meetings, we could discuss it on the school email. And besides that, everybody sees the messages I send out and then you send back to me. So it's an open communication. Announcement and messages. If there's anything, let's say, how many times have you shown up to class and the teacher's not there? And if you're lucky, there's a sign on the door that says this class is canceled today. If you're not lucky, what happens? You sit there and sit there and sit there and say, well, we should wait 15, 20 minutes and then leave. Is that fair to you? Not at all. By no means. This is why I like to remind, if I'm sick or if I'm called to a meeting or I have to do something else or I have car trouble or whatever, and I can't make it to class, I will send you a message as soon as I know that so you don't have to waste your time. The last thing I will ever want you to do is wait outside for me. All right. So, or if we have a room change for whatever reason, I will send you out a remind message. There's also a message on the announcements on MyMathLab. So that if you're doing your work and you get a message in there. So I don't want you to waste your time either waiting for me or looking for me. So all those will be made. Grades. Let's look at the syllabus. All right. We're going to have chapter exams. We're going to have 10 of them. It'll constitute 1,000 points total. All of the exams are comprehensive over the material we discuss. So everything we discuss in homework, because basically for me to create these tests, I pick the same question from the same database I picked the homework problems from. It'll be similar type of problems. We'll have, these next two tests have to be done before your next class period. Actually, we'll pretty much do that today. A remind exam and then a syllabus exam. These will be the easiest exams that you may ever take in your life. The syllabus exam is look over the syllabus, which we were talking about today. And once you do that, send me a message on Remind and tell me that either you understand the syllabus or you don't understand the syllabus and you have questions. That's it. Once you do that, you get hundreds for both of those. You don't do that, you get zeros for both of those. So it's important. You have to do both of these. These are grades. These are actual grades. Then we have homework. We'll have something like 38, 40 different homework assignments. The average of those will constitute your homework grade. Now, don't use the MyMathLab as a indicator of what your homework grade is. The reason for that is during the semester, it doesn't put zeros in anything you haven't done yet. let's say we're in chapter 4 and you only started chapter 3. So is your average only chapters 2 and 3? No, it's everything to where we are now. That's your average. So if you haven't done anything, make sure you put zeros in there and then average those out. That grade is your homework grade. And each one of the chapter exams, those are their own grades as well. Then we have a final exams worth 200 points. It's over the entire semester. It's cumulative. Now, for a chapter exam, for homeworks, you have an infinite number of tries to get the best score. For chapter exams, you have 3 tries to get the best score. I'll keep the best score. The final exam, you have 2 tries to get the best score. You can. I'll only keep the best scores. Now, if that isn't enough to help you, if you need more tries on your tests, chapter tests, tell me. I'll increase the number. I think I have the default now as 3. Some of them may be more because during the semesters, some students wanted more tries, so I put up to 6 or 9. I do that so you don't feel the pressure to cheat. I have no reason to think anybody in here is going to cheat, but the moment you lie, cheat, steal, instead of me being on your corner, I'm your worst enemy. Anybody who gets caught cheating, I will do everything I can to not only just fail this course, but out of college. Because that's not what we want in this world. I'm giving you all the chances in the world to make a good grade. Is an A really that important if you don't know anything? All you're going to do there is show everybody how much you don't know. If you tell somebody, I made an A in algebra, I made an A in statistics, and they ask you, can you help me? No. Does that make you look very intelligent? A quality? No. And I don't want anybody to associate my name to somebody who cheats. So if you do cheat and somebody asks you, what class you take, who's your teacher, tell them that you cheated your way through it and I was your teacher and you decided to cheat. I like to support all my students. That's why I give you so many tries and all this stuff. But again, if you don't want to learn this stuff, why even spend the money? Why even spend the time here? So it's very, very, very important. Every chapter will have a practice exam. You can take as many times as you want to. I only keep the best score. 10% of your practice exam score will be bonus points added to your test. Now, yeah, so everybody says, so what's the importance there? I've had so many students who haven't taken that option there. If you make an 84 in an exam and you made an 80 on the practice exam, what's your score now? What's your grade? 92. So you made an 84, but you're getting an A. You made 84, you made 80 on the practice test. 10%, just move the decimal place 1 to the left, is 8 points. 84 plus 8 is 92. So you went from a B, a solid B to a B minus to an A. How much more can I give you? I feel like an infomercial. I'm trying to give you stuff free. So I can't do anything else for you. You have 16 weeks to do all this stuff. I don't want anybody on the last week of school to contact me and say, I need more time. I need to, I can't finish this. I need more time. No, you have until 11:59 p.m. May 15th to finish everything. You know the deadline. At that time, the system shuts off, puts zeros and everything you haven't done, and I take it from there and grade everything, do the calculations. Anybody who sends me a message, I'm telling you that right now, I'm simply going to say, too bad, so sad. You had 16 weeks. So did everybody else. So don't fall behind. Which is why here I put when you should be submitting your exams. So the first exam should be done by 2/2 or thereabouts, February 2nd. Then we start chapter 2. It's got 4 sections. You should get that done by that following weekend. And so on and so forth. You see, all the chapters we're going to cover, they're all 2 or 3 sections each. So it's not a lot of stuff. And I don't believe in over flooding your homework assignments. How many of y'all had teachers that gave you like 50, 60, 70 homework problems? What's the point? My homework assignments will have 8 to 10, maybe 12, just to make sure to cover 1 or 2 of each topic that we discussed. That's all I want to see. Can you do the work? The exams, same thing. They're not going to be 40, 50 questions long. They're going to be short and sweet. So that's everything there. And I hope if everything goes right, we should finish by the 13th or 14th week. If everything goes right. Which means that we'll have a couple of weeks to either let you guys catch up or review or whatever you need. Now, you see again why I'm saying at the end of the semester, if anybody sends me any requests for extra time, I'm simply going to delete it. I mean, how much more time do you need? Spring break. Anybody remember what spring break is? March 10th through the 16th, that week. We actually had it originally March 17th through the 24th, or 21st. What happened was, since we have a lot of students that are dual credits from Dallas College, or Dallas ISD, we had to switch ours because of that number of students. Because when they're on spring break, we'd be having classes. When we're on spring break, they'd be having classes. So they would miss 2 weeks of classes, and we couldn't do that. So we switched it to that week. So spring break is the 7th week, at the end of the 7th week. And then the last day to drop is April 17th. In that time, you'll definitely have 1 progress report, and this will be in the second progress report. My progress reports will simply state either going to be satisfactory, you're where you're supposed to be, or unsatisfactory, you're far behind. So it's either going to be A or F. It's either you're where you're supposed to be, you're doing good, or you're not doing good, catch up. Again, don't wait till the last minute. Again, if unexpected class changes, I'll send you messages. Attendance is mandatory. Everybody here has to attend class. Now, how do you attend class? I live stream all my classes. Which means what? Everything I say and do, everything I write is recorded. Let's say you have a job and you have to go in early that day. You can, if you have the free time, you can log on during class time. You have the link, that link for the meeting. This one here, the online discussion, that will take you to this link here so you can see what I'm talking about. You'll hear it. You can participate. You can ask questions. It's the same as you being there. but you have to log on. Now, if that doesn't work for you, I record everything. I I make PDFs of all my notes, and I'll send them to you. I'll try to do it daily, or definitely do it at the end of the week. Those both class periods. So it is impossible to miss my class. Think about it. If you're in a class, it meets Tuesday and Thursday, and you miss Tuesday, how far are you behind when you go to class on Thursday? You're as far as whatever they talked about on Tuesday, whatever the examples they did, whatever topics they discussed, you're that far behind. So now you have to try to play catch up on what they're trying to talk about that day that you know nothing about. That's what, if you miss a class, then it is your responsibility to watch the videos. And don't, and you ask for help. I'm going to ask, okay, have you watched the video yet? Let's talk about that example I talked about in there. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll say, go watch the video and then get back with me. I'm not going to do the work for you. I'm not going to say I'm not going to do the work with you. I'm expecting you to do the work, and I'll be there to facilitate it, to clear up any questions you may have, not replace your questions, your lectures. I will answer the questions you have based on what you don't get from the lectures. Now, our grade. How do we calculate our grade? Let's say that our homeworks, we have 20 homework assignments. Any assignment you're missing at that period, if it's missing, what do? You have to put a 0 in there. How do you find the average? Okay. Very good. Yes. You're here, what you're going to do, you're going to add up all your homework scores. If they're not there, you put zeros, and then divide by 20. Whatever that is, that's your homework grade. So there's your homework grade. Then you have your remind exam and your syllabus exam. Should anybody in here ever have a 0 in those two grades? How can you get zeros in those grades? If you don't send me a message on Remind saying that you've read and understood the syllabus. We're going over the syllabus today, so I'm doing the reading for you. So if you don't do these, if I don't have you on my reminds list also, you get zeros for both of those. Then add up how many exams that you've taken so far. Let's say we only had 2 exams. And then any bonus points that you've made. Add up all those and divide by how many? Don't count the bonuses. Those are bonuses. Those are free points. Those add into your exam grades. You only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grades. That's how you can figure out your grade anywhere along the line. At the end of the semester, we're going to have the homework. We're going to have the remind, the syllabus exams, exam 1, exam 2, all the way to exam 10. And then you have the final exam. That is worth 200 points. It's counted twice. Well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the point value online. So it's worth 200 points though. And then you add your bonuses. So we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have 15 grades. That's how you figure out your overall grade in the course. That's how I do it. So anywhere along the semester, you should be able to know exactly what your grade is. I can't tell you the number of times I'm teaching math students and they ask, can you tell me what my grade is? What my average is? And I said, well, no, I can, but I won't because it's a math problem. Figure it out. Worst case scenario, add up all your test grades, divide them how many tests you have. That's a good indication of what your grades are. So that's how we figure out our grade. Due dates. When you go to MyLab Math, we come over here to MyLab Statistics. You go to MyLab Assignments. Make sure you go to Assignments because that'll list all of your homework and your exams. Now, also, what I also have my thing I like to do, see, so you start off with the first example or first homework assignment, do those, take the practice exam, take your exam. Then you do chapter 2, take the practice exam, and then take the exam. So it's all top down from there. That's how we're going to do the semester. Now, if you notice, what are the due dates? It's the last day of the semester. On the listing of all the assignments and all the exams, I said, this is due by this date. That's to keep you on track to finishing up where you're supposed to be. If you get to an exam or a homework assignment or exam it's already April, you're supposed to have done March 2nd, that tells you you're behind. You're in a very good position not to finish the course when we finish it ourselves. So the dates that are on the syllabus are simply a guiding post to show you where you're supposed to be. The actual due date for everything is May 15th, the last day of the semester at 5:59 p.m. Can you miss a class? No, if you're not here physically, you could attend virtually or watch the videos later on. In other words, another question I never want to hear from students is, what did we talk about last class? Watch the video. Because I don't have time to go back and reteach an entire lecture. Beginning of class, we'll answer some questions you may have over the homework or wherever, but I don't want to spend too much time on that. I want to keep on moving. Cheating. On the syllabus, it also says that all of the assignments, all the exams are taken in the academic testing center. That may be inconvenient for some of y'all. So I'm going to turn on the Respondus online so you can take it anywhere, which means in order for you to take the test at home, you need to have a camera on your computer. It will record you while you take the exam. And what I can do is during lectures, and I'll have pop quizzes throughout the course. And those pop quizzes, I may just add them all up, make another exam grade. But if you made 100 on your exam and in class you can't answer one question, you better believe I'm going to go back and watch all those videos of you taking the test and see, are you having external help? Are you using another computer to do the work? Because it shuts off. You can't browse on anything else other than your test online. And then it'll record you, so I'll know if you're on a cell phone doing anything. I don't care if you're answering a message from somebody. The minute you look at a cell phone, that's cheating. I don't care what it is. Give yourself 2 hours of getting away from that cell phone. Your friends' messages are not that important. What they're going to do that evening or what's on TV is not that important. I don't care about it. So I will watch the video and see exactly what you did during the test. Why are you making hundreds? And that's going to be your first warning. After, I mean, if I catch somebody doing that, then that's it for them. They'll never take another online exam at their house. They will only take theirs from the testing center. If I catch 2 people doing it, the whole class will suffer. The whole class will take it in the testing center. Now, the back row. What I'm going to do from the back row is typically when I see people, I mean, look back there, you think anybody is really actually doing anything in this class right now? What are y'all looking at? Your emails. Yeah, I mean, so that's why you don't need your computers open in this class. You definitely don't need your cell phones out. So in this course, shut your computers. You'll have access to them when we need them. I may have some bonus games. I don't know if you ever played Kahoot. I may have a couple of games like that where you need to have your cell phone out. But again, this what I'm saying is in class, even if you're doing the class, let's say virtually, if you're not here, then you still have to participate, take the quiz. If you miss it, then you have to come back one day in the next 2 class periods, and I will give you another question. Because if I give a pop quiz to a class in class and you miss that class for whatever reason, then you owe it to me to come back within the next 2 class periods, and I will give you that a separate question for your quiz. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. Again, this I need to do because yes, I've caught people cheating in the past, and it's not fair to everybody else. So those people, I have no problem. I will enjoy sending them to the testing center and watching them squirm for an hour and a half. Because I don't like liars, cheats, and thieves. That's not why I was put in this world. Also, in this, there's your online meeting. I will also send you, let me see if it's in that. Yeah, so here's the link to get to the Remind app if you need it. How many of y'all have not ever used Remind? Okay, let me go onto my Remind account and we'll activate your. While I'm doing this, any questions about the course? Yes. Yes. That's a good question. You should be able to. Let me look for it. I won't. I send all my notes. Get your phones out. All right. On your phone, to this phone number, send this message, including the @ symbol. Is there anybody here that has only this class for today? No other classes? This is the only class you have? I'm sorry. Okay, then we'll have to do something when it comes to those pop quizzes. Okay, so right now I have no reason not to trust anybody. I trust everybody. I mean, you look completely honest to me, like you want to learn this stuff. But you're taking this course, you're paying for it, you might as well learn it. So we'll see about that. I mean, we may not have any quizzes. I don't know. I typically save it for whenever I come into class, and like this morning, everybody was on their cell phones. Not one person was doing anything else other than this. But as we go on the course, you have notes to study, you have things to do. If it asks you for an access code or a class code, this is the class code. But it shouldn't ask you. But some students have had that problem. And you guys have to have some questions too. For the lecture. That's a good question. At the beginning of the semester, I'm gonna try to get them. I'm trying to get. I have to stop being lazy. I know I always yell at students for don't be lazy. I'm the same way. I know how you guys. Life's too fun. If I will try to at the end of class process everything. It's a lengthy process because once I finish that, I gotta download it. I gotta upload it to YouTube. I gotta make it a link, get the link, put it on a sheet, and then do the same thing with the notes. I have to scan the notes, upload them to my Google page, get the link there, and then I'll send you that. I'll try to do that every day, every class, at the end of every class, somewhere during that afternoon, because that's going to be my homework for the day. And if I don't do it, then you guys can hold that above me about your homework assignments. So, but if not, then I'll have everything at the end of that week. But yeah, the sooner the better. The sooner I give it to you. I also, that's what I was looking for. I thought I had, but I have copies of lectures and notes from the previous time I taught the course. I use those, so and I give students who want to go off on their own. I give that to students. So I will send you all sometime this week. If you want to work ahead and move faster than everybody else, I'll send you all the videos, lecture videos, and the lecture notes, and I'll send that to you. Send it to everybody who wants to use it. So you don't have to wait for that day's lecture. It's going to be the same material. It's just the way I present it. It'll be maybe a little bit different. I'm glad you asked that. Everybody done? No questions? We still have 30 minutes. Yes. No, I should, no, because on your computer, you have everything you need here in the calculator. Because this calculator here, it can be scientific, it could be graphing, it could be anything. So anything you need will be done here. We're also going to see about using Excel. Who all is not familiar with Excel? How to use Excel? Oh, get out of here. Go. Go. I hope she's okay. Yeah, so don't go buy anything just for this course. Because I can't tell you the number of times like I said, in college, I bought a calculator. Never used it. Never took it out of the box really. So don't go out and buy anything you need. There's always going to be some kind of free app out there you can use. But yeah, I'll show you how to use Excel, which we'll use those. And Excel does everything also. You enter the data, you'll do different columns to show how it changes, and then it also do the graphs for you. So yeah, for real values, that's where we'll use that. But during lectures, we'll only use maybe 10, maybe 15 numbers. So you can easily do that by hand in a calculator. Good question. More questions, more questions.
Did you find the
Yes, let me see. The textbook link. Chapter links. Is anybody logged on? Anybody have access real quick? But yeah, it should be there. It should be at the very top. I should have put. So yeah, that's where the textbook should be. If you don't see it, you don't good. So again, this course is not that. I'm going to make it so it's not difficult at all. How many of y'all took algebra before this? Yeah. So you guys will skate through this. Most of y'all, it's not required. So that's how difficult this thing really is. It's just straightforward. It's the hardest part will be learning the language, the vocabulary. Because if I ask you for the standard deviation of the population versus the standard deviation of the sample, those are two different formulas. They mean two different things. Well, and that's what we're going to talk about the first thing of next class. We're going to go through a lot of the terminology we'll be using in this. And not only that, not only terminology, but symbology. Symbols we'll be using here. Mathematics is a language of its own, either by words or by symbols. How many of y'all have experienced statistics or probability in your life? How?
When people in school, the odds of getting accepted to a school.
Well, that's true. That's anything, but yes, very true. That's a very good point. Yes. Or everybody says driving in a highway is a chance you're taking every time you get on the highway, all these text drivers and everything. Where else do you see statistics or probability? Do you hear on TV? Where?
Like,
When? You're right. It's on the news, but when? Exactly. I'm glad you said that. You ever hear that? Forecast. This is Alabama. Okay, when it says, here we are in Dallas, DFW. If Channel 4, which is headquartered somewhere over here, if it says we have a 90% chance of, or 60% chance of rain, what does that mean? Their location? Well, here's the radar. And let's say this is their radar. If it says 60% chance, what does that mean? Yeah, 60% of the viewing area. So let's say they said the southern area. It's roughly that. So these people may have a chance of seeing rain. These people won't. So it's what they leave out whenever they do weather predictions is there's an 80% chance of rain, which means 80% of you of the viewing audience, in other words, only the people who can see this news report, you're in our viewing area. 80% of you all will receive rain or may receive rain. Have you ever seen, while you're driving, rain on one side of the road and no rain on the other side? That I've seen that too many times. And that's exactly right. There's that line of where the 40% gets it, 60% won't. Other places you hear it in news all the time. 30% increase in violent crimes. 20% decrease in taxes. But what does all this stuff really mean? What does it mean when they say there's a 30% increase in violent crime? Let's say they said a 30% increase from last year. So what they're saying here is this. If there were 100 violent crimes in February last year, and there's a 30% increase, that means there's 130 crime this year. Because it's 30% of that. Of means multiplication. What about these commercials? 4 out of 5 dentists recommend Gleam or Crest. You ever hear anything about that? Like dental or medical? What does that mean? 4 out of 5 dentists. What should you get out of that message? That's what they want you to think. You notice they never tell you how many dentists they surveyed, where they were, and how they surveyed them. Because if I was a toothpaste company, what I would do, you notice this is what doctors do. Whenever you get your teeth cleaned, what happens? What do you get when you leave? You get that little small package, the package with all the goodies. Toothbrush, those little pills that make your teeth, your face turn red, and a small tube of what? Toothpaste. Everybody gets that. Why do these companies give these dentists these free little tubes of toothpaste? Because if you get them from your dentist, what do you think? Yeah, my dentist is using this because that's what you get. No, the dentist gives them because they're free. All toothpaste is the same. They give it to you. They get these things for free because now this little free 25-cent tube, you're not going to go buy a $5 bottle of tube at Walmart. So when they said 4 out of 5 dentists, all they surveyed was maybe 5 dentists. The 5 dentists that they gave those free toothpaste to, one of them had ethics and told their patients, no, all toothpaste is the same. It doesn't matter what you use. All the other ones says, yeah, well, this is good. So be careful what you see. Politicians are worse about this. We just finished a very, very, very arduous campaign season for president, for House and Senate, local, state, and federal. Every one of them make up numbers. Every one of them. You notice that none of them ever tell you where they get their information from? They simply say, there is a 30%, you lie 37% of the time. You overspent by 15% or 150%. How? How do you know this? So we're going to learn in this class that don't believe anything you read unless there's verifiable evidence behind it. If you don't see it, it's trash. There's a book that I used to recommend students read in this course. It said how to lie, cheat, and steal with statistics. I could make statistics say anything I wanted to. Which one sounds bigger? 30% or 3 out of 10? So who thinks that 30% sounds bigger than 3 out of 10? The reason, because you see the symbol there. They know that. Exactly the same thing. All this says is 30 out of 100, which is 3 out of 10. They're the same thing. So these politicians, these advertisers, they're just trying to lie to you because you don't want to seem like you don't know what you're doing because you say, oh, that's a good number. No. How many people you heard somebody say, I gave 120% chance, I gave 120% of myself? Is that possible? What's the most you can give? 100%. You can't give more than what you have. So they're imagining more they give you. So I'm going to teach you guys how to read and how to think mathematically so that I'm going to hopefully, guys, for those of you who show up and participate online, try to be aware during the weekend or something like that. Try to find stuff either in magazines, newspapers, online where this stuff is being lied, cheated, and spat at you. And we'll start talking about those. If anybody opened up a show that would go after these advertisers and how they lie to you by putting these numbers out there that have no relevance to anything, but makes you think that it's true. I get sick every time I watch TV and watch these advertisers. Where should we get? Okay, everybody clear your desks. Does anybody not remember algebra? You raised your hand, you took algebra. Okay, I'll see you all on Thursday. What, you want a quiz? You have to clear your desk anyway. Ta-ta! Bye, everybody. See you Thursday. And we'll start lecturing.